Hello and welcome. My name is Sarah Scott, and I'm the Vice President of Partnerships here at Defined Learning. And we have an exciting story today with our guests here from Santa Paula Unified School District in California. I will be turning it over to our two guests, Taria Duran, who is the secondary STEAM TOSA at Santa Paula Unified, and also Alex Roth, one of the CTE elective teachers who's been doing some great work with Defined Careers. And so without further ado, I just want to welcome our featured guests from Santa Paula Unified School District. And we'll start it off with having Teria share a little bit about the background with Santa Paula Unified and their decision to incorporate a resource like Defined Careers to support their college and career readiness. So, Teria, I'll turn it to you. If you could just talk to us a little bit about why Defined Careers, what problem or solution were you looking to create with Defined, and where did you start and where are things now?
Well, good afternoon. Why defined? Well, essentially, what happened was back in 2014, we started teaching our exploratory career classes here at Isbell Middle School. And at that time, I was actually a teacher in those elective classes, and we had to develop that curriculum all on our own. And it really was a great task. It was some of the very first work that we had ever done. And so, as I said, that started out in 2014. And here we are in 2025, and we have had the pleasure of having defined careers here at our middle school now since 2022. And it really has been a saving grace because it has offered our teachers resources and a great learning platform for our students. And with project-based learning and just really robust experiences all the way around. Our goal was basically to create a pipeline from middle school to our high school to support our CT academies at the high school. And our whole focus with Defined Careers is to offer our students the expectations of the industries that they are exploring and giving them a global view while engaging them with hands-on student experiences along the way. In addition, we do offer study trips as well. Defined Careers has been a great foundation for our teachers, and it is, as I said, providing our students with excellent, engaging experiences.
Awesome. Thanks, Taria, for sharing that. And if there's anything else kind of along the way too, please feel free to chime in. But at this point, we'll turn it over to you, Alex, to give us a look inside your classroom and kind of how you approached the Defined Careers resource and access and the work that you've been doing with students. That really ultimately we're here to celebrate.
Great. Just a little background. This is my 11th year teaching, and originally I went to college to become a PE teacher. And for the first 9 years of my career here at Isbell, I solely taught PE. And so when they told me that I was going to be in the classroom teaching an elective, I was maybe a little unsure of myself. And I heard stories of there, not really being a, curriculum. But then Teria let me know about Defined Careers and how it kind of serves as a blueprint for the class. So yeah, I'd love to take you in on what we do at the middle school level. So I have a combo class. It's seventh and eighth graders combined. The first semester is called patient care. And what we do is we try to bring in lots of healthcare professionals. We want to do lots of project-based learning revolving around the medical field to try to spark the interest of the students to just get excited about the medical field, because when they go to the high school, they have a health and human services academy and a healthcare academy that they can enter into. And so we use the middle school CTE course as a building block. And then the second semester that we're in now is called Public Safety and Service, and we focus on jobs related to public safety, whether it's police officers, firefighters. We're, in a detective unit right now. We talk about the FBI. We talk about all sorts of careers in public safety, and then public service. We talk about, city government. We talk about lawyers and judges and how our judicial system works. And so those are our 2 semesters here at Isbell. And so I'd love to just kind of walk you through what we do, for each semester. And I'm going to share my screen here to show you the different courses that we use for defined careers.
Great.
Slideshow. Sarah, are you able to see this?
Yep.
Perfect. So, my teaching partner and I, her name is Miss Hanson. She teaches the other elective class. And so, what we did was when we first had access to defined careers, we went into the module and looked at all the courses available to us. And we knew we couldn't use all of them. And so, we wanted to pick and choose which ones would be the most engaging for the students, the most relevant for the students. And I know that in Defined Careers, they have middle school courses and they have high school courses. So we focus on the middle school courses, and here are the 5 middle school courses that we picked out from Defined Careers. So we start off using the registered nurse course, and it talked the project that it involved was teaching the kids how to take vital signs, whether it's using a thermometer to take temperature, whether it's using an oximeter to measure your blood oxygen level, using a stethoscope to hear the heartbeat or their respiratory system. And then they go up and they basically do a skit where, one person pretends to be the nurse and one person pretends to be the patient, and they are able to act out their vital sign taking skills for that course. And then we move into, there's a therapist course, and we talk a lot about mental and emotional health. Uh, Last semester, we had them record a podcast where the scenario was, parents came to you and they are moving their 12-year-old daughter, and they're teaching their daughter how to give her coping skills on moving to a new location and building new friends. And so they have to do that research on their own to help these parents in this time of transition in their lives. Then we go into dentistry. There's a dentist course in Defined Careers where the kids make 3D models of like dentures of their teeth, and they have to learn all the different types of teeth in their mouth. And I'm going to just skip to the denture portion here. So here, we provided them with, red clay and marshmallows and toothpicks, and they are, get in groups and they figure out how to make these dentures, and they make posters of the different type of teeth, so that they, understand, oral anatomy. They also list off good oral hygiene practices for them to share with other students. Next, we have emergency medical technician. So the project in the Defined Career course was this organization called Stop the Bleed, where they have to make a video where they reenact, a EMT person coming to the rescue to stop the bleed of a victim or someone who's bleeding. And so we talk about tourniquets. We talk about where to place the tourniquets and where to put pressure. We talk about different medications that can be used to help clot the blood. And so they're basically teaching younger students what to do in an emergency. If they see someone who's bleeding, they'll know what to do. And then one of our final projects is dermatology and skincare. if you know 12 and 13-year-olds, one of the most important things is how they look and their skin. And so they get in groups and they make skincare brochures, and we give them different ailments, different conditions that involve the skin that they have to research, and they have to give symptoms and treatments that involved in their brochure. So that was, kind of patient care, our first semester in a nutshell. Kids really get excited about all things with medicine. And then part of Defined Careers is that you can incorporate guest speakers as part of the different courses that you are taking. So what we've done here in at Isbell is, every course that we offered, we tried to bring in a guest speaker related to that course to come speak to the kids. So, here on the left, Oxnard has a dental hygiene program. And so part of our dentist course, we brought in Oxnard dental hygiene program to speak to the kids about, if they want to become a dental hygienist, what do they need to do? I don't have a picture here, but I brought in my own dentist to be a guest speaker. And so he talked about what you need to go to dentist school and, running your own practice and what that involves. And so that was really cool for the kids to see, that if you are not fit for, a regular 4-year university and a regular bachelor's degree, like you can go to dental tech school at a local community college or a dental school, and you can get a certificate that you can get, real world job experience right away and start making some really good money and doing something that you love. So second semester, we're in it now, public service and safety. We went into Defined Careers and we looked up the, public service and safety categories. It's a, great search bar that you're able to filter out which courses you're looking for. And here are the ones that we've uh, picked for our units. So the first one we did firefighting, and so they had to come up with a script of them pretending that they are going into a firefighter interview to join the fire academy. And on the panel was like the police chief or the fire chief, and maybe a city council member, and they're asking them questions, and they're the people who are pretending to be applicants have to be prepared on how to respond to fire related questions, teamwork questions, etc. Then our next class was correctional and probation officer, and so the project in Defined Careers was you are making a PSA for local prisons and jails, basically teaching the inmates who are about to be released how they can access housing, medical, being reunited with family members, food, which corporations and companies hire people with a record. And so they had a really fun time researching and then making this PSA for the local jails and prisons. One we just did last week was our military course. And so we took a deep dive into all 6 branches of the military. And we broke them up into groups, and we told them that like they are the experts of their branch, whether it was Navy or Coast Guard or Space Force or Army, Marines. They are doing all the research on the benefits, the amount of time it takes for basic training, where they might be stationed, and then they are making a like a recruitment poster that they would hang at a local high school, and the goal was for their recruitment poster to be better than all the other branches because they want the most number of people to join their branch over others. So I'm gonna go to there you go. So there are some of the recruitment posters that the kids made that just have to do with, like I said, benefits and why their branch is better than all the others. Just trying to use their skills of like selling, what they're a part of.
Mhm.
Um, So that was our military. I did not show this, but we were able to bring in, um, the guest speakers that I was talking about. We brought in AMR, and they showed us basic CPR uh, on these dummies. We actually did a field trip to the local fire station where we were able to walk over, and the firefighters took us through their living quarters, everything on the truck, what they need to do on a day-to-day basis. And so that was a really fun experience for them uh, to see as well. Um, on the right, this was last year. We had a person who worked for the FBI come, and actually, FBI is going to be one of our next projects that we're going to do. And then currently, we're in a detective unit. So the Defined Career project for us was to create a crime scene, and the kids really got to use their imagination, and they come up with their own um, scenario, location, who the victim was, what clues were left behind. They had to do research on, once they get these clues, what do they do with them to analyze them, whether it's a fingerprint, whether it's blood spatter, whether it's, a weapon that was used that was left behind, video surveillance. And then, basically they come up with a conclusion from the clue analysis for a suspect. And then what do you do with the suspect? And then basically teaching them that they have to gather all of this evidence and they have to build a case for when they go to court. They have to follow all of the proper steps, or some of the evidence that might be at the scene might be thrown out if they're not careful enough. So that's what they're doing now. And then in the next week or two, we are going to be doing a lawyer um, uh, segment where they are going to be doing like a mock trial. And so we're going to give them a scenario that they're going to have to argue whether it's, school uniforms in favor of or not, or, body cameras on police officers, in favor or not. And then they're going to have to build a case where, and argue their side of things. And we're going to have a judge, we're going to have a bailiff, and we're going to try to do a mock trial, setting in our classroom. So those are the different uh, courses that we use from Defined Careers. Uh, like I said, it's very user friendly. It's very much geared towards project-based learning, and I tell the kids, I mean, they have all their other classes, English, math, science. That's where they're getting lectures, or taking lots of notes and taking quizzes and tests, and some of it might be individual, but like this class was really meant for getting in groups, talking a lot, working through problems, coming up with really creative projects, so that they can build those not only teamwork skills, but also, when they come up and present it to the class, they're building that public speaking skill that they will need for high school in most of their classes, but also after high school when they get into a profession, that they are equipped properly, for their career that they're going to go into. So that's kind of what we do.
Yeah, that is awesome, Alex. Thanks so much for walking us through. And I have a couple questions. If you want to go back to maybe some of those artifacts that you were sharing, it's
Sure.
always really exciting to see, just some photos and such from the classroom. But I know a lot of our other partners, I'd be wondering about how long were you spending per kind of career course, I guess we would call it in defined careers, but about how long did you spend with, say, the dental career course?
Sure, with introduction, with getting them enrolled in the course, and then walking through, each course has videos related to kind of the umbrella of what the course falls under. We watch those videos, they respond to questions, and then we introduce the project, get into groups, have them work on the project for 3 days-ish, maybe four, um, and then presenting, and then also including guest speakers if they come. I'd say each project maybe took 2 weeks around. I would say 2 weeks, depending on um, whether we have one or two guest speakers or whether it's, if they're filming something and they have to edit it, it's going to be a longer project versus, if they're, kind of making one, if there's a group of three or four and they're making one clay mouth model and one poster, it's not going to take them as long.
Mhm.
So on average, maybe 2 weeks
Okay.
for each of the projects.
Sounds like a good sweet spot, about 2 weeks. And I know it sounds like your goal was, almost threefold. One was to prepare students for potential academies that they might be moving into in the high school. So kind of giving them some of that career exposure, which you guys have done a fantastic job of really engaging the students in this learning about the careers. And then, you also hit on something else I think that's really important in that, through the process, it sounds like your students are also demonstrating their development of some of those key future ready skills, right? You kind of touched on teamwork, perhaps, communication and that public speaking. What other skills would you say that you've seen students really having to develop and or, hone as they've had to move through this work together in teams and really kind of from, ideation all the way to completed project and presentation mode. Any other skills you're seeing?
So at the beginning of the year, myself, Taria, our teaching partner, Miss Hanson, we got together and we wanted to come up with a kind of a plan uh, for the kids to develop those skills. And so not only are they developing the skills while we're doing the project, but Monday's our short day, and every Monday we in our classes we have a kind of some quiet time where they do like a mindfulness journal. It's the first 7 or 8 minutes, but then after that, we really try to use the what's the curriculum called? The Turning Point? Is that the career ready skills that we do on
Yes,
Mondays?
the soft skills.
Yeah, the soft skills for them. So whether it's interview skills, whether it's, on Mondays, I've gone over um, like income and taxes and stuff that salary, things that they will be interacting with when they get a job. We've talked about communication skills and how communication skills are really important on the job site. Uh, so
Yeah.
on Mondays we do talk about those soft skills uh, to get them career ready, and then that incorporates with when they're working on the project, they're able to use those that they've learned
Mhm.
to be
Mhm.
successful.
What I've
Great.
also noticed in the classroom too is, especially since the beginning of school till now, that the students have learned to work collaboratively together. And I think it's really essential, especially in our elective classes, because our elective classes are seventh and eighth intermixed. And so it's important for those students to have those collaboration skills with their peers, and which they'll be able to take on when they go to high school and eventually into the workforce as well.
Right, right. Awesome. Yeah, I think project-based learning by its nature, right, allows for students to kind of develop some of those as they're working together. But I know it sounds like Alex, you've done a good job of really making that intentional, calling them out on Mondays, and then the students are aware of those skills and kind of what they're looking at through the projects that they're working on, which is great. So I guess my final question would be, is there anything that, someone who's never used Define Careers, but is, maybe considering for middle school career exploratory, a different, a resource, is there anything that you would just, want them to really be sure, to know as they're considering options about Define Careers and how it's worked for you and really benefited your students as well? Any kind of like final thoughts from either of you that you would pass on?
I mean, I would say I personally I like the ease of on the teacher side of things, not having to reinvent the wheel. Um, I think a lot of teachers who go into some of these newer exploratory elective courses, they feel uneasy. They feel that they're kind of like flying by the seat of their pants, that they're kind of just one step ahead of the kids day by day. But, by using defined careers and knowing, which courses we're going to use, now I can map out guest speakers to come. Now I can map out, how many of these courses that I might be able to do. I'm able to, see what they'll need to do in these projects, and then I can teach prior the soft skills that are required for those courses for them to be successful. So, I would just say if you have not been, using a program that is kind of a roadmap for your elective course that focuses on careers, I would say that this is a really good tool for you to use, and it's a really good resource and stepping off stone for some of your kids, especially in middle school, to understand that if I say, hey guys, what are some different jobs in the medical field? Most kids will just say, oh, doctor and a nurse. Well, but now they are able to explore hundreds of different, careers that are not just doctors and nurses, right? And we can bring in real life professionals to talk about the pros and cons of their job, their salary. I mean, seventh grade, eighth graders, they love to talk money. One of the first questions they ask every single guest speaker is, how much money do you make? And so the shock factor that I see on their faces when the guest speaker says, "Yeah, I didn't go to college, and I went to this, technical trade school, and I'm making six figures," and like they're kind of shocked. So that's what I would say.
That's great. That's
Um,
great.
in addition, I'd like to add, we're very fortunate, like to have a teacher as Alex, who has really taken off with defined careers.
Mhm.
We introduced the platform to our teachers, and they were able to dabble in it and felt confident and comfortable with it. However, I do have to say the support that we've received from defined careers has been essential to our teachers and the training that they have received. And I think that's another reason why they've been able to take it to the next level. And as I said, back in 2014, not having the resource and having to create everything from scratch, and now being able to offer this to our teachers has been a definite, robust experience, not only for our teachers, but for our students as well.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad that we've, provided that support that's really helped you, but it's teachers, well, leaders like you, and teachers like you, Alex, who are really making it come alive for students. And we can tell that through your, through what you've shared and through the stories that you're telling. And it's just, that was really the exact intention, is that, students from all walks of life would have exposure to not just what they see maybe in their families or in their communities, but to all the possible occupations within those career pathways and sectors. And so, a tool like Defined Careers can, as you guys are using it to do, really brings that alive and makes it, a real possibility with salaries and all of the things. Alex, I wonder, have you seen within Defined Careers the soft skills modules?
You know what? I have not.
Yeah, so that might be something to look into. I know we also have the virtual internships, which may not be what you're, getting to within middle school. But yeah, if you search in the collections, there's the career courses with which you're taking full advantage, and then another collection is the soft skills, and then there's a financial literacy collection as well. So
Great.
might help you front load on Mondays. But I think you've done a great job at just showing us how you've implemented, why it's been going so well, and appreciate you taking time, yeah, to highlight the great work that you're doing. I know others are going to benefit from hearing this. So I think that's all that I have. If there's anything else you want to add, otherwise we will sign off and say keep up the great work.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, and thank you for letting us share our story from Santa Paula Unified School District.
You bet. Yep, coming from Isabel Middle School in Santa Paula. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Alex and Huria.
Thank
Talk to you
you.
soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.